by my little eye. Andor, Cassian Andor, talk about Andor, Cassian Andor. He's a rebel spy, super bad friend. Give you a hug at the very end. Make that man feel like 100. He's the rogue one for me. Pick you ass up, he's not in the show. Is he a fish or a thief? He's Cassian Andor, Cassian Andor, Cassian Andor.
Hi, I'm Jason Orr, MakingStarWars.net. 0 out of 10 for me. Crap. No, it was no Book of Boba Fett official review. Good night. No.
Mic drop.
What'd you think, what'd you think, Max? Did you like it or did you hate its guts?
I hated its guts, and I wanted
thought
it
it
to
was-
die and
I thought you would
be all
think it was
guts and
stupid.
shit.
Yeah,
So negative,
dumb.
Max.
So
No.
stupid.
that's pretty good, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
I
good,
liked
right?
it. Yep, I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, Fran liked it. I mean, Fran's like, that shit was metal. That's what Fran says. Francine, good job. But as a true liked it, and that's as is truth. But yeah, I mean the episode overall was sort of kind of what I expected. For a few seconds though, I thought the I don't know what you call them, the Russian hippies. I thought they were gonna I thought they were gonna like do their own like rebellion in the middle of shit and be like the wild card that they didn't see coming. I was like, uh-oh. But it turns out they were cool. They just wanted to see the laser light show.
I was singing along with them.
I know you texted me.
I'm serious, I was. It's like, I'll
But-
participate.
Did you memorize it? Can you do it now?
No, I forgot.
That's culturally insensitive, you piece of shit.
Huh?
Cultural appropriated Aldanis.
Yeah. Man, you know how many Eldanis
those.
died? Fucking fake piece of
Okay.
shit, Max. I swear to God. No, I'm kidding.
You can't talk to me that. I'm a high school graduate.
I'm sorry, Max. I forgot. But the plot of the episode was exactly what we expected because it's exactly what they told us was going to happen. They had a plan. They followed through. That's what Cassian and Andor do. And so, I mean, but then you had like a little bit of twist there. A little bit of twist with I can't remember anybody's name. I
The
was
twist
glad
of
though.
the nuts. Right.
Yeah. What's her name's? Sintez, the uniform people. She did get a good kill in there, which I was happy because they kind of were like, she's the most hardcore killer of all of us. And I
She's
was
the
just like,
last girl, right?
yeah. She saved the little dude who died anyway. I think that's what happened. But yeah, that was a bummer, but pretty cool. He got his little manifesto out at the end, and so I guess let's just jump to the end. Let's just go all around the world. Who cares? So she gave the manifesto to him, knowing that it would draw him back in, right? That was the because he never said make sure Clem has this. That didn't happen. I don't
She was
think.
lying.
He seemed like he got crushed and he was just fucking dying the whole time. He wasn't like, make sure Clem reads it. Like, I don't think that happened.
He might have
Unless I missed it.
he was on Space Lizard at the time, so
That's
take it
true.
with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Or a grain of a tongue. A little tongue.
But this is like the first time in the series we don't actually know what happens tomorrow. Everything has sort of been like dominoes falling across the board. You know what I mean? Kind of like one thing leads to the next, and Cassian got his money and fucking hit the road.
The
Rip 'em
windshields were
off.
the windshield glass was like cracking everywhere.
On the TIE fighters?
No, well, on their ship too.
Oh, really? I didn't
Uh-huh.
notice. I noticed on the TIE fighters. Man, I gotta say, I really, really like the story of Kenobi but fuck it, it was like kind of painful looking at the those TIE fighter shots and the scene compared to what they did in Kenobi. It really did. It really did stand out. I was like, yeah. I mean, I knew it could be better, but when I saw that, I was like, fuck, that looks so much better.
But Wade, man, I mean, there was no Wade moment here.
You're right. There was no weighty Wade moment. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it was actually like somebody died who was just like Wade that I kind of cared about him.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. I don't care about them that much, but I didn't want him to die, and he did. You know,
Yeah.
Wade. I was like, bye, Wade.
Yeah.
See you later.
I have
there you go.
I have not really paying attention to everyone's name.
Yeah, I just learned Cintas, the uniform people. That's all I could remember. That girl's name right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot to make the cereal cereal bars.
You piece of shit. That's 2 strikes, Max.
That's the second time you
Fucking
call me a
didn't-
piece of shit. You piece of shit.
You piece of shit. You didn't remember the song, and you piece of shit. You didn't make snacks.
Fuck you.
Are you
Yeah,
even taking
how
Star Wars
dare you.
serious?
Huh?
Are you even serious about Star Wars?
I'm cereal.
Right.
Because
Just
I'll
a
tell you right
cereal.
now, if you and Star Wars aren't even fucking dating, you're so not serious about it right now.
Yeah, I've got a lot of other things going on. So
And Max, what happened to the hairstyle you're going to do from the first episode? You promised us you were going to do the brothel hair with the
Fucking piece of shit. 3 strikes.
yeah.
I'm kidding, Max. I'm kidding. We're not picking on you, Max.
what hair?
We love you, but we're
Oh,
looking forward to the cereal
That's
snacks.
gonna be
really
that's gonna be a
wanted those.
performance, not on this show.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so we're not good enough for it here, is what you're saying?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh,
She said, "No, we're not good enough for it."
I thought you were.
Confirmed.
I thought you were going to open the show with the performance and space hair. Whatever,
Mm-mm.
Max.
That
Whatever.
was me. I was
Oh.
going to do that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, with your space merkin. I gotta say, I think it was like a little understated. I don't know if everybody caught it. I'm not sure. It just felt like maybe they didn't, maybe they did. But it was fucking hilarious when the fat guy had the heart attack. He starts having the fucking like they didn't have to kill him. He has a fucking heart attack, and like you know his wife and his kid are there, and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, the rebels kicked the shit out of him, but he went down fighting. You know they're gonna.
I felt bad for his wife and
Yeah.
the son. I think you're
Oh
supposed
fuck
to.
them!
Yeah.
Fuck them!
No,
Fuck them!
no, they're
Oh,
human beings.
He's the Baron
No.
Trump of Star Wars there, you know.
They
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Is that Donald Trump Jr.?
Yeah, they think everybody stinks and everything, you know. So fuck them.
Yeah. He's going to get the tombstone like what's Gene Hackman's character from Royal Tenenbaums. Died saving orphans from a burning ship, you know. Something like that.
Yeah, the little boy's costume that was pretty fucking baller. Like that was pretty cool for like a little Star Wars kid. I think that's the best dressed little Star Wars kid we've ever seen. You know, usually they're kind of just like little dumb assholes, like Kitster or something. And this kid was just like, yeah, I got a fucking space cape and shit.
It's wizard.
Yeah, it was pretty wizard. But yeah, so the betrayal by what's his name. See, I figured what's his name, Space Tattoo, was gonna die. I figured he was gonna die because like he's sort of like we got his backstory and all that shit, but then that was a lie. And then he did die anyway.
He deserved it.
I mean, $80 million though. Fuck, man, I don't know. I kind of got where he was coming from a little bit, but I think that says a lot about Cassian's. When I say character, I don't mean it as in character, as in he's a good guy, as in like he's a built of strong character. But as in sort of he's he does have a deep moral compass, and he does actually care about the greater good, even though he's trying to not do it. The fact that he didn't just take the whole thing for himself in the end, that he only took what he was promised, what he agreed to. It's pretty says a lot about him, you know. Yeah, well, it says I think how they're going to view him on the rebel side. You know what I mean? It's going to probably explain why he's one of the more trusted dudes with what's that guy's name? Draven and Mon Mothma and Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah.
It's gonna make a lot of sense. And yeah, that was a really, really good moment at the end when the guy says Aldhani, and you think it's somebody who knows, and he's like, nah, and he's just bringing up the attack, and then what's his name gets to go fucking flip his wig because he's so happy in the back
And
room.
he giggles like a little bitch.
So, I was looking for the Jedi lady in Obi-Wan Kenobi because she's an Amber. She's like one of those Aldani people. Star Wars Meg pointed that out to me a while ago. That like that lady in Amber's that dressed the same as they are, and yeah, but I didn't see her there, so she must have got captured before.
Yeah, I don't know if they even put that much thought into it. Honestly, just hey, we got some costumes lying around because I mean, a lot of this stuff looks like it. I mean, and credit to the design team for obviously they used a lot of practical locations and a lot of just kind of clothes off the rack.
Okay,
like
but I can't let it stand though.
Yeah,
they shipped the fucking they had to ship if they just had a costume lying around, they had to ship it from fucking England to El Segundo or Manhattan Beach. So
Okay.
it's not just convenience, but
Yeah.
chances are they didn't. They actually redesigned it to make the connection. Just throwing it out there.
Really?
Just saying. I would
that
think
seems
so.
like a lot of effort for no payoff, though.
Connective
I mean,
tissue and I mean, I mean,
yeah.
if
Why
you're gonna,
connect it if there's no connection?
why the fuck? Why put fucking Sankara stones and Indiana Jones's whip in the background? Because we go, I'm drawing connections. It's all connected.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're just making props, so they're probably like, hey, make some shit for his shop, and someone's like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we did this?
No,
I mean,
they
probably
definitely
more
had a
than that.
meeting about who was going to be in Amber, the featured characters in Amber, and I think
Yeah.
that like to go back one last Kenobi thing is remember like the Genghis Khan looking dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
was he wearing the snow versions of what they're wearing? I want to go back to Kenobi and look at that scene now because I don't know if he was another Aldhani.
Yeah.
Were there two Aldhani Jedi in there? One was the snow version, or is that like a different thing? Probably a different thing. But
The only thing where I could think they could make the like a meaningful connection is maybe that's Lieutenant Gorn's chick. Maybe that is his woman that he lost.
Yeah,
and they could go back and they could do that.
Sure.
But but there's definitely nothing there in that episode that you would care that there's a connection there. They would have highlighted it.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, I do think that the episode was really close to perfect, but nothing is perfect. And I think my point of critique right now is the fact that the Russian Aldhani hippies are all kind of just there, and their function was to get our characters in. But man, I kind of wanted them to fucking rise up and start fucking lifting people above their heads and throwing them on fire and shit. Like I was kind of hoping that we were going to get crazy because they're going to get wiped out now. They're all dead. They're all going to get killed. I was kind of hoping that there was going to be a little bit of a uprising sort of thing because you could tell that old chieftain wanted to fuck some fucking Imperial people up.
That was like he was talking Burning Man right there. Yeah. So
what was that little show that was going on in the sky? I remember them talking about it, but I forgot what they said.
Song. I guess you just like the music but don't care about the people, huh?
Yeah.
Whatever, Max.
That's the way it's going down.
Sensitive. Yeah.
Honey,
I think it was called like Gorn's Stink Eye or something like that.
Yeah.
Stink Eye Gorn.
The Stink Star.
Stink Star.
Which is a great punk band name.
Stink Star. Yeah. Star Wars punk band.
That would be the name of the band.
Stink Star.
Hell yeah.
Stink Star. So was it always the plan that sent us the uniform people that she would stay there, or did she get left behind on accident?
Yeah, that was very unclear.
Okay. Yeah.
She just wandered off and like, hey, like I expected her to like change into like an Aldani outfit and just blend in with the people.
Yeah,
but she didn't. She just was like,
I'm
just rocking this uniform, just pretend like I've always been here. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah, because I would imagine it doesn't, maybe that's a thread that we don't that doesn't get picked up or whatever. Oh, and I have to say, did you I kind of wanted Vel, just saying, I kind of wanted her to talk I kind of wanted her to shout like the lady in Pulp Fiction when they go to the diner. I was kind of hoping for a little bit of that from her because you knew she has that in her. I was kind of hoping that was going to happen during the robbery. You know, every last fucking one of you. Like, I thought that was coming, but you know, she was kind of even killed. But the actual like taking of the base, the action, it was good. It was. I mean, on this show, like I think a lot of people are going to like that action. Action, like to me, was good, but it was not my favorite stuff. My favorite stuff was like the double cross, and those moments were really good. Like as You Do Suck says, lots of twist, love it, and that's how I feel too.
This is a great way to subvert expectations because you basically had none. They like you could have put money on who was going to die. I mean, like you said, I thought Tattoo that guy was probably good chance, but I didn't see him going out that way.
Yeah.
He had asshole gonna die in the last episode. I thought.
Yeah.
Or like you knew he was going to.
Yeah, but the rest of them.
And so was the
stormtrooper
one that did die. No, the one that did die.
The stormtrooper died too.
Yeah, Lieutenant Gorn died.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, stormtrooper dude died. Yeah.
Oh, I missed.
Wait, yeah, Gorn. Oh, Gorn did die, huh?
Yeah.
Gorn died. Hightower from Police Academy died.
Chocolate Moose. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy, the kid died. And then Synthesis, the uniform people, she may die. We don't know. She's always consider her kind of lost for now. Vel's got a bunch of money. Gonna go to Canto Bites, roll it, put it all on black, see what happens. That's what I think.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, do you think maybe so? If Cinta gets captured, maybe she's the one that ends up in the prison, and that how it circles all back. And this, Val needs Andor to help her out to do this breakout.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean,
I don't know.
I see. Like I was saying, I had a source in the prison stuff, and the only thing that they ever said was that he's hired by Stellan Skarsgård to get in and get some information, and that those are a lot of those are ex-scientists and engineers and stuff who are making Death Star parts. Mm-hmm. That's all I ever heard, and that may not be accurate. You know what I mean?
It makes sense, and obviously they're doing a lot of connecting to Rogue One, but at the same time, he's also surprised when he finds out about the Death Star, and we're 5 years before that. So
yeah,
you can't leave too many breadcrumbs for them to connect the dots. So
no, like
a fine line you got to walk.
Remember in Rebels, like they know something's there. They just don't know what the there is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's like the whole thing.
Yeah, you watched the whole Saw Gerrera Rebels arc. You said
I watched it just the other day.
Yeah.
Was it?
Drove me crazy.
Yeah. I thought Saw Gerrera was supposed to be in this one.
Well, it was in the series, but not in the episode.
I saw a trailer. What was it, yesterday or today?
Yeah.
Is that for the next one?
That's just for if you saw I don't know what trailer you saw, but I mean, there was a trailer with Saw Gerrera in it.
He's in. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I thought
that's
it was specifically
just like
for. I thought it was.
That's just the final trailer.
No,
that's just like the final trailer for the whole show. So yeah, he'll be coming in. Like I kind of wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm almost wondering because in that trailer, we see Stellan Skarsgård going to Saw Gerrera. There's no Andor there. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if we could have an episode with sort of minimal Andor. But he may go back to Ferrix. But if he goes back to Ferrix, that would be weird because he's wanted. But we do know that he does meet up with Bix, and she's like, "Let's fucking get him." Like there was a TV spot, and with Bix saying that in it. So we know that Bix is going to be down to fuck up the Empire at some point too. Just not. But I feel like that should come later.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the episode a little bit. The visual effect of the setting of like the shower, the meteors, I don't remember what you call it, but the festival of lights, it's fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was one of the more interesting settings for a Star Wars thing ever, and like just
it reminded
like
me of Rebels.
I wish Rebels even looked, but Rebels is ugly though. This is
Yeah.
pretty as fuck. I was like, I love you, like a Christmas tree in my eyeballs.
I was gonna say if I had to make a complaint about anything in this particular episode, the TIE
Mhm.
fighter pilots, I don't think people realize unless you actually see the outfit up close and personal, just how bulbous that helmet is and how
Mhm.
ridiculous they can look. And the way they shot them did not hide the fact that it's somebody wearing just a giant bucket on their head that's like, they're looking like a mascot.
Yeah.
So the TIE fighter pilots in this, if you look at like say A New Hope versus the way they're shot in here, they look a little more cartoony. They're more like,
Because
it's like
because
I could put
they
the
don't show
Banana
them do
Splits
anything.
theme. Right.
They
You can
just
see
do
the
this.
Banana Splits theme song to that. Well, they jump
Mhm.
in and they're like, they have these like giant like mascot heads. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, let me. So that was my one gripe when I was like, that looks dopey. The way they
I
shot
like
that.
seeing them like put on the gloves and everything though, like
Yeah,
getting
it's
like the
cool.
flight gloves and like getting
Yeah.
it ready and all of that. I would for a second I was like, you guys could be working a little faster, I think. But I was like, you know what, you're cool. You
Yeah.
go at your own speed.
The takeoff was taking a while. It was like they're
Mhm.
going through the
But I was
checklist.
like, maybe they had to warm up the old dogs, you know, get them kind of going so they just know, I don't need to rush. It's got to heat up.
Oh.
I don't know,
They're
but
some great boys.
yeah, no, but watching them watching like the plan come to fruition and the ships get destroyed. In my head, I thought there would be more. I thought there would be like more TIE fighters that would be dispatched. Oh, you know what? Cinches the uniform people is okay because there's that shot of her looking up at the Star Destroyer in the trailer.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
And it hasn't happened yet. So we will see her out there probably going back to the camp and seeing the Star Destroyer coming in and being like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Check the plane.
That's one thing. You would think they would have something in their plan because they have to be smart enough to know that the Empire is going to basically assume the natives knew something about this. And so they're just going to fuck shit up once they're out.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much leaving those people to die. So
Right.
it's not a very smart plan to
Well, I mean,
people out.
that's where you run into like Saw Gerrera kind of ethics questions
Mhm.
because we know from the episode next year they're not gonna get to come back. And that it means they're gonna die. That means they're gonna kill them or they're gonna get uppity about it and they're gonna get killed.
Yeah.
So in a way, yeah, once again, I don't know what the right answer is. I know what that little fucker Ezra Bridger would be like. No, we must save them. That's what he would say.
Or Omega. They're
But
friends.
Cassian Andor don't give a fuck. Cassian Andor is just all about fucking money and bics and guns. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, but I mean it's it's like I think that when you look at like how many did they say there were 60 and there used to be like 15,000. I think they've already lost realistically. I mean,
well, they made it sound like they kind of rerouted them because they're like, oh, we put these bars up and like 500 were there and like now there's only like 60. It was just like, what, there was like a pub crawl and they're all like fucking passed out. I see that cutscene,
there was one like subtle moment that I liked when the comms officer, I guess you would call him, realizes something's fucked up and he goes out and he talks to the trooper and he's like, have you lost communication? And he's like, it must be the shower or whatever the thing is called. And I was like, that internally makes sense. That's what somebody would literally think. Oh, it must be the fucking meteor shower that's making the communication. Like, I don't know. I just like that like little detail. I just thought that was like smart in universe writing,
Yeah. It's not Leia in a trench coat. I mean, this was pretty well thought out.
Yeah. I kind of like the trench coat, but I just don't like the fucking airspeeder. I guess we all have our things though. But Luke says that it was an awesome episode. I really think the story will move faster in these next few episodes. You know, Luke, I got to be honest with you. Like right now, I'm getting the general gist that everybody's like, best episode of all time. Jedi Mike says 9.5 for me. That's what Jedi Mike says. And Bespin Bulletin, I won't scoop his show, but I could tell you he's pretty fucking happy too. And I am as well. But that's the thing, is it's the third part of a 3-parter. All of these are going to be 3-parters every single time. So it stands to reason most of them will likely, the third part will be the crescendo, the big, you know, they could do a Game of Thrones where you like peak in the middle and the next one's like the fallout and what happened. That could happen. But I don't see that happening until the very end.
Yeah, they got to mix it up. They can't keep doing
Star Wars. I don't think Star Wars generally would do that, even with Tony Gilroy. I could be wrong.
I mean, look at Empire. Is that
you
know, you get your big battle Act 1, and then it's all
but I mean, what I'm saying is like in like Game of Thrones, if Game of Thrones was Empire Strikes Back, it would like the next day would be like Lando talking about how everything is shaken up, and how they're going to Jabba's palace and getting the plan ready, and then it would be like dun, 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 at the end, you know, there would be more of that like epilogue kind of stuff.
So that when you say they, you mean Disney, or do you mean Tony Gilroy, or who's the
I just mean the creatives, you know.
So you're thinking Kathleen Kennedy's there and going, no, we ain't doing that.
Kathleen Kennedy's not a creative. She's just a producer.
Right.
So
well, she's got to be handing down the direction.
Well, she will, she will say this is boring. Like we saw early on, she was kind of into it, one of the drafts of Andor, and then went pretty cold on it after she had to live with it for a little while as they went developing. She's like, not feeling this. And you know, she's been a producer for long enough that she knows when it's not coming together, I think.
Yeah.
But also going to throw it out there that there is a chance some of the shortcomings from Kenobi, some of the shortcomings from Book of Boba Fett might have been allowed because of what they were doing on this bitch. You know what I mean? As they were like focus, and they were making all of these at the same time. All of these were in various stages, and I think this was the clear favorite. And because I mean, the amount of money they spent like on the visual effects, like that meteor shower sequence, like just like the look of it didn't need to look that good, and I'm glad it does.
It was real. That's why.
Right. I mean, it was very believable.
Well,
you know what I mean? It really was. Yeah, it was, and it was like, and there wasn't like ooh, it looks good, and then now you see it and you're like, and then like, oh, it looks good again, and they're like, like no, every shot of it looked good.
Yeah.
Well, at least my first viewing, that was my impression.
Now, granted, this is the third of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Andor. This is the last in the line, but this was the first out the gate, correct? In terms of production, when this actually really started in earnest.
This one had start and stop, like kind of production, yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously Obi-Wan did, but I mean, it was more like start, scrap, and start over. Versus
no, well, this did too. This had the same.
True.
But I mean, like actual production was start and stop by design.
Yeah.
Whereas Kenobi was like film 6.
Yeah.
Just straight through, you know, pretty much.
Yeah. So I wonder how much of this was already kind of budgeted for, planned before any of those even were on the table. Because certainly Book of Boba Fett and it shows it feels like it was kind of thrown together last minute. Like
Kenobi was supposed to be the one to film in the UK.
Yeah.
And I have reason to believe Andor was supposed to be here for a time.
Yeah.
For a time. I don't know when that might have been on the original script before like they did the rewrites, but it was the Butch Cassidy version that they kind of mentioned, something like that. It might have been like something like that. But anyways, they didn't skimp on the visual effects at all. Everything was just like super fucking solid. And I hope. I know I'm like a big spoiler guy, so talking about patience is kind of hypocritical of me. But as the shows are coming out, when we are in the release time, it's like these are 3-parters. You're going to have an intriguing thing. You're going to have a middle, and the middle's either going to be super fascinating or it's going to be connective on these. And the last one, I think people were way too hard on. I said hard on, I know, but they were hard on it. And what's the like payoff? This one, worth it, completely worth it. I think, anyways.
Yep.
So, okay, wait. I think Bespin is helping out here. It filmed November 2020 to August 21. Fett filmed November 2020 to June 21. Kenobi filmed April to August 21. So
Okay.
So basically, so Andor and Boba basically started at the same time, and then this filmed a couple extra months.
But obviously, there's a lot more pre-production on this than Boba. Correct.
I would think so.
I mean, because the sets they had to build, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably. I mean,
yeah.
Well, it's like
12 episodes to plan out. So I mean,
well,
you had a lot more detail.
You have to remember when they're filming in the volume that the visual effects have to be done before. So it's sort of like flipped in a way, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of it is anyway. So yeah, what we would need to really analyze that stuff, we would need really hard concrete data from them actually saying, here's the making of book, and it was, January 2019 or whatever we started, whatever.
Jason, I've watched My Zero, and you absolutely do not have to have facts to make this stuff up.
Oh yeah, Jeff Bridges is Luke Skywalker, and he pulls the Star Destroyer down.
There you go.
I hope Mike Zero has Cinta's the uniform people pulling down the Star Destroyer. Like it flies by, and she's like, what? She's a Star Killer? What?
Well, the Odanis are actually a secret force cult, and they're the ones that pull it down. That chant was like to summon the Star Destroyer, and yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. The so their little rebellion. It's dead though. They have them, but now they have $80 million, and so I'm just gonna assume that's like real world money for us. Like you can make that dollars. Excuse me.
No,
that's meant.
I think it's way more than $80 million because I go back to New Hope when
is it British pounds?
It's definitely not Zimbabwe dollars. I mean,
it's like $100.
But because and I knew
space pesos on Mos Eisley, space pesos. Come on. Bespin says Klein said they spent 6 months doing previs work with the volume before shooting. Andor started pre-pro in February 2020, but was shut down in March due to COVID. Restarted pre-pro in August 2020.
Okay, so
yeah,
and they had 12 episodes to previs versus 7
to previs love.
But just so such different animals in the sense that like these are like little dramas at camps. Like the scripts are so fucking different. You know what I mean? Like even though it's 12 episodes, like I think I could be wrong, but I think there's like less setups going on for Andor than Boba Fett in some ways.
Well, in this
could be wrong,
like a final draft, and Boba Fett felt like a first draft.
Rough draft. It's pretty rough sometimes.
Super.
They're like, you know what? Don't worry about it. We got Tamara Morrison. He's a thespian. He'll carry this thing.
It's like wiping your ass with sandpaper rough.
Like, have you seen Attack of the Clones? Just a simple man in the universe trying to make his way. He's got it. Favreau, baby. Roland says best episode so far. Lobo says we saw 2 people doing a fish impression.
Like this.
They're fish, not thieves.
KG said that was pretty. Luke Miller says, "Dude, the visuals are incredible." I agree.
Mhm.
I agree. This is going to be, I think, an easy one to rewatch. I probably rewatched the last one like 2 or 3 times. Probably put it on 3 times, but I probably really rewatched it twice.
I only
Kind of
watched
just
it
like
once,
watch it
or rewatched
once.
it once. Rewatched it once.
You know, I will
Yeah.
say that I wonder, like, I feel like the engagement is not as high in this. I think the general reception of the show has been really well overall, but I don't think the
Yeah.
engagement is as high.
What do you
Well,
mean?
you know
Which
what?
is
By like just like by like default, like on this show,
I think
I
people are like,
can't
yeah,
really watch it
it's
with my
yeah,
kids. I mean like
yeah.
my kids like it
Mhm.
when they're like they'll watch the book, but they can't sit through 40 minutes of like a camp
This is
and then mom
totally an
mother's
adult.
apartment.
It's
Yeah.
totally an adult show.
And that's what
Yeah.
changes that's what change like so like the engagement level on it is radically different for like
Yeah.
various reasons like that. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't get a cool Tuscan Raider dance like they could have done that at the camp, but they didn't do it.
I really like this
Fucking
show.
episodes of failure. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing. I mean, and the story's great and the characters are great, but in terms of like, you know, there's like if there's not like a Kristatin or you know, or something that's like a visual that's like that's fucking cool kind of
Yeah,
thing. And there's no like character that's like, you know, really like the visuals are great, but at the same time, it's also it's not as bold in its visual design as, you know, say like the prequels are, when you get like, you know, a bunch of crazy ships and a lot of different character designs, and there's not like a Watto hanging out
well,
somewhere or something. I mean, this guy with 4 arms is about as good as we got in Andor so far.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
Bespin and I were like talking, and we were kind of like analyzing Han Solo, and in that conversation, I was like, you know, he's like Han Solo's cool, but I'm like, but a lot of what made Han Solo cool to little boy Jason, anyways, is what he had, and he had a Millennium Falcon, and he had a Wookiee, and then he hired like, or he was hired by like Jedi's and stuff to go like do stuff, and so that kind of shit, like that's what makes Han like. You're not just like, oh, this guy has an attitude. He's cool. To some extent, yeah, but it's what they have. And like in this show, like Cassian having K2SO would have offered that to some extent to little kids or to like the dumber of us, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's ultimately for the best that if they didn't do that yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That we don't have him yet. Bespin says an example of the production is the Ferrixtown started being built in October 2020, but they didn't start filming until January, and they filmed there for 4 months. And then James saying there's no visually exciting character. The man must have fucking forgot Bix exist. You got owned. You got Bespin bulletined.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm more into the Boston women, you know, so I like them hairy.
Yeah. I like Mon Mothma's like blah blah blah. I don't like to party. My husband likes Creed. I don't like to party. And then she's like, wait a minute. Oh shit, I better get on my iPad. Oh motherfucker. She like she's like giving her speech and then just like has like everyone just starts walking out, like not paying attention to her.
Yeah, I feel like she's like the Al Gore of like space politics. You know, everybody's like, "Shut up."
it was kind of
Over.
you know what I read into that moment though was something more exciting
Wow.
happened, and people started leaving in the Senate pods in the middle
That's
of
what
a
I. That's what I
conversation.
understood. That
A
yeah.
lot of them are empty because nobody cares about the bullshit she has to say.
Mm-hmm.
So people just don't show up when she goes to like you know really lobby on behalf of like somebody. The Senate doesn't give a shit. So there's a couple people that are just there because it's like duty or whatever, and then but they cut out because there was a fucking something happened on the fucking news, basically. Like when you get down to it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you had a pretty good theory, and I thought you were spot on when you said that you thought that Crystal was going to get lost in the battle, and they were going to trace that back to Luthen. And like Mon Mothma said, she'd be the first one to fall. So I figured at that point she'd be like, "Well, jig is up." We get her speech from Rebels because she knows that she's toast either way.
Yeah.
And that might still happen down the road, but I mean, they're coming like right up to the line of where Rebels is, and
I mean, yeah,
season 3 no less, not even like beginning of Rebels.
I mean, for all we know, Luthen might be tossing him that necklace as the down payment collateral every time he sends him out. It might be a ritual between those two. I mean, who knows? It seems a little sentimental and corny, but
yeah,
it's possible.
Well, and obviously,
Bespin said Mothma was talking about the Gormans too, foreshadowing her quitting when the Gorman massacre occurs.
Yeah, has it already occurred?
No, Al Gorman.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I guess it hasn't actually occurred yet. They've just been like dicked over by the Senate, and she's pissed about it. And then the actual massacre is on its way.
Yeah. How close does it seem like we are to that?
Which they've been talking an awful lot about it. And I mean, we're only 6 episodes in, so it's got to.
How many episodes are there? 10?
12.
Or 12?
Yeah.
12 o'clock high.
I would see like maybe the show ends with like basically segueing into that episode of Rebels when she's getting cast away into protection.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, you say no, but I can't imagine them not trying to do some kind of live action version of where she meets up with Hera, even if it's just like you get the back of her head as Mon Mothma walks onto the ship, and you kind of like, that's the ghost, that's Hera,
right? I mean, it could totally happen. I mean, it's possible.
I feel like they can't help themselves.
I know. No, I just think that it's only happened if they couldn't help themselves and Gilroy had to.
Yeah,
I just don't suddenly see him, like, for instance, though, wanting to show Zeb Aurelios like in his show. I just don't see it going that way.
Well, do you think that they would show another Rebel cell then, aside from the ones from the cartoon?
They have to work around Rebels. I mean, and it's obvious that they've mentioned Gorman several times. So he's obviously, whoever wrote this was very aware of where things go in the canon.
It's like I always say, Rebels is a hokey show with horrible dialogue that looks ugly and sort of half-assed visually, but the storytelling is a plus.
I love that show. I love that show.
If you take it down to, like, for instance, I think the execution is rather poor on the episode where Ezra and Sabine have to like drop out of the thing onto the radar dish.
You're talking about that, yeah. But
can't you see that in this world executed by Gilroy, just like we just saw in this episode, like by him? So the story could be that.
Yeah.
But the execution in the episode is like,
yeah.
I mean,
no,
because this kind of did remind me of some of their missions that they did. Granted, the animated series was lighter, but it seemed very much like
it's Y7. Yeah. That's how fucking light it is.
Yeah, I mean, it makes Stormtroopers so cartoony. At least, like in this episode, when they're storming that base, you could tell that they're terrified that they might die. You never get an episode of Rebels where you get the sense that they're going into a mission thinking this is like life and death. Because even like Sabine, she goes in that shipyard and she's like joking as she's doing cartwheels. And I mean, it's like,
cartoon.
But it's like so to like
here's the
side
thing
of it.
Here's the thing, though, Max.
What?
It's a cartoon, but you know what it is? It's a fucking Star Wars cartoon.
Yeah.
So,
and of course, expectations.
Yeah. They I was thinking about not to get too much on a tangent of this, but I was like, remember how many fucking Rebels Recon and all the bullshit we got with Rebels every episode? Like, and then these live action shows come out and they're like, well, nobody watched the Rebels Recon, so we're not doing it. It's like, no, do it for this shit. Don't do it for that shit. Like when you had a show on Disney XD, nobody watched your supplemental stuff because nobody fucking had Disney XD, and it was a kid show for cartoon. So here we go on Disney Plus. Like, there's a whole extra section with no fucking extras. Like, come on, man. Like I really want to watch that. You know, I the day after the episode, like I like going on StarWars.com and doing the read up or reading the write up on it or whatever. But it would be kind of cool if there was like a 3-4 minute featurette that kind of went over that stuff and broke it down and wasn't condescending in the process of, hey idiots, let's infantilize you with some fucking fun facts about your stupid fucking fate. Like, don't do that. Just be like, the galaxy is unfolding, and here is this, here is that.
My take on that is fuck that shit. Watch the Making Star Wars show.
Oh well, I don't know anything about that shit though.
Yeah,
I mean, I just like, I'm like, hey Bestman, when they film that? And Bestman's like, October. And I'm like, cool. He says the Gorman massacre takes place in 2 BBY, so next season we'll see her quit. So we got
2
some time.
BBY? Okay,
yeah, two baby.
So it'll be next season. So, but Rebels happens 5 BBY, and she's
Rebels
already,
starts
by season 3.
But it's
2
4
BBY?
seasons. I think it happens in season 4, right?
Season 3.
Season 3 she quits, and then season 4 she's okay.
Yeah. So
I thought it was 6 seasons. Or am I
season
making that up?
3 it's like a year per season.
What about 7?
8 seasons?
I knew it.
4 seasons in a movie?
I knew it. Yeah.
4 seasons hotel? Let's overdose there. Let's just end it.
No, I've been there.
Go out Star Wars Rebels.
No, I mean the hotel. No.
That got
Four
dark,
Seasons
Max.
No.
God
No way.
It was like Pulp
kid
Fiction.
show,
I had to
Max.
get that
Come on.
needle and I had to give her the adrenaline shot and bring her back.
No. Gross.
Oh, me and Max are fucking rock and roll as fuck. You guys don't even know. Fran says 4 a.m. I'm delirious. Great episode. It was a good time. It really was. Lobo says it just hit me right now. Jason's lights in the background resemble the sky during the eye. Well, that's what I was foreshadowing the whole time. I'm glad that you noticed, Lobo. There's just so much like forethought into the show every episode, and
especially like I was totally fucking baked when I was watching that, so it was fucking amazing.
Scheme. Bespin says favorite episode. The action was my least favorite aspect. Which I agree with you. I love that we delved into much deeper into the spy espionage and the morally gray. Yeah. It's kind of strange because like in a way like it is morally gray, but not. But Cassian kind of went a little bit black or white on some of that stuff. Like once Homeboy was going to steal the stuff, he just fucking killed him. So that was like,
that was quick.
yeah. And I think it was the right call, but at the same time, he could have like marched him over, let him take 20,000 and said, get fucking lost. We don't want to see you again or we'll kill you. I mean, instead he just fucking capped him because why have that on your ass? Why have that defecting and turning you in or anything like, so I think he, UD says little dude is definitely dead. Yeah. He's not coming back unless he
actually, you don't know, he actually becomes Babu Frick.
I mean, I'm just going to say it, like they had like $80 million on him, 80 million credits. Luke Skywalker got a fucking robot hand. Like they could have made that guy into fucking General Grievous right there.
Well, shit, look what happened to what's her name, Fennec Shand.
Yeah, Fennec Shand.
She fucking got shot by a dude.
Like, got robot abs.
Yeah, and then this guy gets hit by a shopping cart, and it's like, sorry, toast.
Robot guy.
He pulled a Padme.
He's a huge pussy. I'm just gonna throw it out there. That guy's a huge pussy.
Yeah. Anybody that writes a manifesto. I mean,
yeah, KG's all they gave the imp a heart attack. Yeah, I know. I was laughing when he's like, shut up, keep working. He just kept telling him until he worked him to death, which was a fitting end for him considering what he had done. Luke says seeing those meteor showers was incredible to look at, as well as Coruscant. Yeah, I know. Yeah. as the truth is, I think we've seen almost everything from the trailers now, except Saw and the Partisans, and we haven't seen Cintas, the uniform people looking at the Star Destroyer. We haven't seen the prison. We haven't seen that one scene with like Bix when she's like, "Oh, I heard your girlfriend died," and then we see where they take it. Or was I just thought about that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Luthen goes to Vegas in the next episode. Luthen's like, I'm rich. It's all Luthen has the same plan as everybody else to steal the money. Savage Cabbage. Savage Cabbage. Did you ever hear the Savage Cabbage story from Last Jedi? When I saw the movie before, but when the movie officially opened, I took my son to like the 7:00 showing, the first showing. This little boy behind us is really into the movie, and when Kylo was fighting the Praetorians, this kid just straight up serious, no irony. He's all Savage Cabbage. I was like, man, these fucking YouTube kids watching TikToks just before.
I believe Savage Cabbage is opening for Stink Star.
Yeah,
that's an asshole.
That's be a hell of a
Stink Star.
Yeah. Tamarin and Nemec died. Oh yeah, big time dead. Katie said Jason's a piece of shit for calling Max a piece of shit. You piece of shit.
Yeah, you piece of shit.
Hey, you know what? Listen, I get really mad about cultural appropriation. You know.
Huh?
I love rock and roll. Anyways, Roland says Tamarin, Skeen, Val, Cintas, Nemec, and Cassian was the crew. Yeah. I already forgot. Mark says, why do people have a hard on for Tales of the Jedi? I don't know. Filoni kind of ruined Star Wars by bringing back absolutely every time. I mean, everyone every time. I want to see something else. Andor is it. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Tales of the Jedi because it's going to give me Qui-Gon Jinn and Dooku backstory of things I always wanted to see on screen.
So that's going to give you a hard on that he's talking about.
Well, it is, but I also think that the discourse is going to be all Tales of the Jedi, and then it's going to turn to it was too short, fucking too short.
Just remember, I want to now we're all on record of this because I said way back that would be awesome to have like a backstory of Dooku and Qui-Gon and Guillermo del Toro would be perfect for something like that. And Rob gave me shit for that. So if Rob likes Tales of the Jedi and it's obviously I'm gonna
Rob likes cartoons until it's Star Wars, and then it's
Yeah, so we'll see. If he's like, oh yeah, this is great, they should be doing this all the time. Well, no, he does say, and because Rob and I have this conversation that Star Wars should be it's best in animated form, which is funny because coming from a guy that's never watched Clone Wars, which is the best Star Wars ever, but also thinks that Star Wars is
that's what I say.
So
yeah, I'm kind of wondering if Cassian's gonna take the manifesto back to Ferrix, and then it gets disseminated around Ferrix though on its own. Like if he gives it to somebody, like if he's sort of like not the one who brings the doctrine to the people, but sort of just hands it over to somebody who ends up like spreading, because you don't have somebody go write like a manifesto on screen, have him like giving us clues as to what it means and where he's coming from, and then like it doesn't matter, right? Like it's gonna. Yeah,
I think it would be hilarious if like the manifesto is just like absolute nonsense, like a Ted Calhoun thing from Saturday Night Live. Just comes up.
It's like Deep Thoughts by Jack Andy.
To go. Like what?
So here's the thing: is if you take the antlers of one of those milk machines on Altani and staple it to a child's forehead, it'll look just like a deer. Like what's going on? What's he talking about?
That's
Mark says the special and visual effects were amazing. Don't know why they didn't invest as much for Kenobi, but this show makes everything look so good. Yeah.
I mean, someone owes us an explanation as to what the fuck. I mean, these are the same company that did these 3 shows, and there's a very visible difference. And these 3
Well,
shows.
where
What the
they
fuck
are,
happened?
where they were filmed is a big deal.
You think it's just the crew, just more
I
competency?
mean,
I
it's
mean,
at Pinewood Studios, you have people that have worked on every fucking great film. I'm not every great
yeah,
film, but thousands or hundreds at least of great films over the years. Like it's
yeah,
how many films those people have worked on, and that crew and like the traditions and their so
yeah.
and it's practical and more practical than not than in some ways. I
Is
mean,
it
there's
that
still blue screens
shit?
and shit, but
Is it that shit in LA though? I mean, I get the volume. I mean, that's apples and oranges.
but
But like Boba Fett, when they have the practical sets, what's the excuse there? I
well,
mean, LA
one
doesn't
thing
have competent people. I
well
mean, holy
okay,
shit.
I don't know for certain. Okay, so I'm guessing, but I've never seen a set at the train yard be built to the height that they will build sets at Pinewood, and even the sets on the back lot that from Acolyte
Mhm.
also way taller. And so
Mm.
I think you could set the camera up looking up at a direction like that, and if you do it there, you already have the set built. Maybe you might have to do some set extension, but I think when you do it here in El Segundo, I think you're
Yeah,
paying a hell of a lot for that shot. And I wouldn't be surprised if like they just kind of go like, don't do that now. But they don't make the right call about when it's time to bother with that.
yeah.
That's just my assumption,
I
but I don't.
and this is totally just from my base memory. I don't think so because, like, I just think of that like scene with like Fennec Shand and Boba walking down the boulevard, and it's an up angle, and even like
Mhm.
when like the guys climbing up inside the buildings and stuff. There's a lot of so I don't
Yeah,
know. I
but
mean,
no, but when they built that, they literally
yeah,
just built the thing and the
yeah.
curve, and then they just film. Yeah, so it's not
It's not
it's not
aesthetics that they did.
like
Yeah.
no, but it's like scaffolding practically.
Okay.
Like it's like scaffolding set, when you really get down to it. And like when you look at like the courtyard from Acolyte that they've built, it's like as high as a church.
Hmm.
It's like our standard church out here in the States, when you get down to it. Like
Yeah.
they're just a lot bigger. And there's also a train that goes by the train yard, obviously, but there's also like a the metro line, which is like the public transit, and it
Yeah.
literally goes above it, and so everybody in the train can see down into the set, and it's like and so
Wow.
so there is a chance that they don't want to build too high, because then they're right in the line of the train
Well,
still. But
I mean,
I
there
don't
could be
know,
regulatory things too
but
that you can only build
I think
so
it's
high.
fire. I think it's probably more fire code
Yeah.
kind of stuff than anything,
Well, then, I mean, what the fuck are they doing? Why? Why is it? I mean, why film in L.A. So Lucasfilm's
Well,
not based in L.A. I mean,
but
you got a lot of
do you want the show or do you not want the show? And if you want the show, we're only going to be able to make the show at this price point in these certain locations. Like for starters, Jon Favreau's not going over Pinewood. He's just not. He's fucking
right.
staying right here. He's not going to work. But also at the same time, they have a set now in Long Beach. They have one over at Cal State Dominguez Hills for Skeleton Crew.
Mhm.
But so far, it doesn't look like those are necessarily going. I don't know. I don't know if that's why they don't get the, what is that called? Is that a Dutch angle? I don't know what the fuck you call it.
Yeah. Well,
But
yeah,
yeah,
the Dutch angle
is
is
it
when
really a
the
Dutch angle?
camera's
Yeah,
the
I don't.
Dutch angle is
Yeah,
this. That's
okay,
when the camera's like the Batman
right.
thing.
Yeah, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
But I just mean like but yeah. But I mean, like, as you can see here, I mean, like, if I wasn't lazy, there is a really good YouTube video and showing like the difference in the payoffs between these shots from Boba, Kenobi, and even Mando, and then here in this show, and how big of a difference it makes. And that the TIE fighters side by side comparison of that hangar's like key money shots in comparison to everything's straight on, you know, like we were talking about. Drove Rob crazy.
Right.
But I also think that it, like, those shows are kind of done a bit quick as well. Maybe quick, cheap, you know. They're not like films. And for what it's worth, there was no Star Wars film coming out, and I don't believe the stuff I've heard about the budgets on those shows. The initial stuff with the, like, research and development of the volume and getting the infrastructure set up for Mando season 1, I'm sure that was very expensive. I think that was a big investment, but I don't think that, because season 1 cost that much, every season after did, and that's something that they continually pretend, and like it's against the misreport. So if we end up finding that, I have no idea what it really costs, but if we end up finding out that, you know, Kenobi cost $50 million, then I look at that and I go, well, that's fucking a good $50 million.
Well, and
you
I
know
don't
what I
think,
mean?
yeah, and obviously Mando, the budget on that for the volume and stuff, that to me, that was more proof of concept budget, because they built a much bigger volume right after that. So it's like you built that and you had the infrastructure and you could, you know, bank off of that. Then they looked at that and said, okay, it works. Let's do this for real.
Yeah.
And they built a much larger volume after that.
I like that. I like that picture.
Wait, he said, do you catch that Echo cameo at the end in the empty Senate chamber? What, Echo the clone? Or I did hear them say, like, Echo in the mic into the things, and I thought, like, oh, they were already using that, you know, Echo based stuff. Good episode, paid off well for me. Expect a bit of a time jump for next arc. It does seem like that could be the case, right? Hey Murph, good morning. Soundwave says, holy shit, that was rad. I agree, Soundwave. Jedi Mike says, great episode for me. That Luthen laugh, yeah, that laugh was pretty good. Poor Mommy Mothma, Mon Mothma, no one listening to her speech. I know. We didn't get to see her dinner either. Gorn, Skeen, Nemec, and Temrin all dead. Cinta and Vel made it out. And they made out. But I think so I think Cinta goes back to the camp. It's kind of like how I think that sort of, you know.
Was she a native? I mean, because they did mention that when she found out the one dude was a stormtrooper and he slaughtered all her people. So I don't know if there's a connection there that they just didn't flesh out, or they never really gave her a backstory. So maybe she is from there. Who knows?
Her clothes are reminiscent of their clothes.
Well,
like it's like a yellowish, but that's what I'm saying is when they were kind of like all like blending in. So yeah, I don't know. Baymax says, I wanted Cinta to take out the imp guards by the fire and then leave with the Aldhani. Yeah, that's what I was like. I was kind of like confused by that, like as it was going on. But and then he says, apparently I missed Gorn dying. I think I missed Gorn dying too, because I remember the big guy dying and seeing him on the ground, but I didn't see Gorn.
Yeah, it was like a wide shot that he just like gets shot and falls down. But they didn't like go back to it at all to kind of, so, you know, kind of a weird edit. They probably didn't have
like if you blink, you miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does kind of seem like maybe he deserved it was pretty big. And that the actor, I don't know his name, but he's fucking really good. Like he just does like there's like a lot of subtle things that he does that I don't think, I'm assuming, couldn't be written down.
Is that Hightower?
No. Hightower is kind of like, hey, march, you know, just being like that. But like he does things like looks back and like gives looks, and then you know he's like acting within acting because he's pretending to be sort of like an acting exception. No, but he's pretending to be an Imperial who's defected, and then he's pretending to be an Imperial, pretending to be an Imperial. It's an acting inception, Max. It's crazy.
Jesus.
So many layers.
My money was on Andor dying. It's like the clone.
That'd be a fucking plot twist.
So yeah, see, Murphquake didn't see Gorn die either. So not only
Thanks,
was
Vance.
Skeen cousin on the bear, he was microchip on Punisher. I haven't seen either of those, but
The Bear's
Bespin
great.
told me about
Great show.
Bespin told me to watch the bear. He said the bear is good.
It's a good Chicago show.
Yes. Gorn took a shot and fell to the floor, presumed dead. If not dead, he'll be killed for being a traitor.
You think they'd probably all have cyanide capsules in the event that they would get captured, right?
Yeah. It was, you know what I found to be kind of weird was when I was looking at the money, something about the money reminding me, like I kept thinking the money was explosive. I don't know why. Didn't the money look explosive? Did anybody feel that way? Okay. It looked like Star Wars missiles or something to me. Like, yeah. So I kept going like that. Like I felt like it was dynamite when they were moving it, even though it wasn't. I don't know. It was sort of a weird something about the design and me were like, that's weird, but there's nothing wrong with it. Just it came off. It looked like a missile or something. I don't know. Yeah. See, look, Gorn died. I thought that was Tamron. Rest in peace. Nonetheless. Yeah, and I know Tamron died for sure. I saw him like go down, but I didn't see Gorn die. The Eye of Aldani.
It kind of reminded me of Gold. The money.
Once they start like seeing it on the thing and you see it fall out and shit, but I'm just talking like when it's in the case.
No, that's what I'm talking about. In the case. It just seemed gold to me.
7 years working for the Empire. He said he deserved worse. Damn. Yeah, I know. I was kind of hoping he was going to give him a little slap on the face like a bitch or something, but it's cool. I get it. Says that blaster fight was pretty good. Love seeing that in Star Wars. Yeah, I really like this episode, says Grievous. And Merv says ties are piloted by Funko Pops.
Seriously.
And that is how they actually look. I mean, it is what it is. The more we see of that stuff, it's just the more it accentuates it. Like I'm pretty aware about how stupid it looks or how bulky it looks, so it didn't stand out to me. But Mon Mothma making her case to an empty Senate, showing how dysfunctional and ineffective it had become. I was hoping to see Masamita drop the hammer on her time to speak. Yeah, I mean, looking at what happens there, I don't think Masamita's ever going there. I don't think he's been there in fucking months. Like that by the sound of it,
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the big question would be if there's not a serious time jump, maybe we'll see the Senate the next day with all of them getting real Iraq war, support the troops kind of shit, like, and then to mobilize to further justify fascist actions. You would think that's kind of the ramification of them doing any rebellious activity is it begins to justify the Empire's actions to itself. And whether they show that or not is completely up to them, but I imagine it'll either be shown or felt.
Well, and I think it'd be nice if they show, because the whole idea that, Palpatine needed the Senate because you can't control the galaxy without them.
Wait, he is a Senate, though.
Oh,
he says, I am.
Didn't think about that, did you?
It's so confusing. You just inception the Senate.
Baymex says, that's right. ISP dude was saying retaliation measures. Altani getting the Star Destroyer treatment next. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because I mean, like I said, we do know that we see Cinta's looking. Is that her name? Is it Cinta's the uniform people? Is that her name? Yeah. We see her like looking up. So yeah, I'm with you. I was thinking that too. I could see all of those people in their little village, like with their little fire and their little rugs, little slinky rugs out there, and Star Destroyer's like pew pew. And like,
how?
Pew pew.
Wow.
Yeah. They call me the Ben Burt of YouTube.
I thought you marked the Michael Winslow.
Third part. This is the second act. This is the 6th episode. So this is the third part of the second act. They're done in clusters of 3. Episode 1 through 3 is an arc. Episode 4, 5, and 6, another one, and then so on, all the way to. So we got like 2 more arcs. The payoff was so good. That's what I say. I'm with you. Murph says, I don't know why everyone is treating this episode like some glorious finale. It's just the train robbery that gets the story started.
It's the finale to this arc.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's 3 parts make a movie on this is the way I'm looking at it. It's the way it's structured. And it's a good robbery, but also it had every good train robbery story usually when there's like a posse, there's usually a Judas in there. We got our Judas, and the thing about it is we should have saw the Judas coming, but Book of Boba Fett made us go, no, that doesn't happen. And then here we're like, oh shit, didn't see that very obvious thing coming at me. I thought his death was obvious, but not the reason for his death. I just kind of thought they were gonna get pinned down and massacred one by one, and then Cassian would make it out with the survivors. But yeah, Zooey loved the episode. Jedi Mike says, who didn't like getting a closer look inside the Imperial family and work lives? I know. That was like kind of funny though, that like, I mean, the guy decided to make this bring your kid to work day. What an idiot. That was the worst day to bring your kid to work. Baymax says, next we'll probably start the Imp crackdown on Ferrix from the trailer and see that Star Destroyer turning up on Aldhani for payback. Putin's bridge got hit and retaliated with rockets on civilians. Same shit. 100% where my head's at on that too. Although I do kind of wonder though, because in that last episode we had that shot of Ferrix. We kind of saw like them starting to like get like they were taking over the apartment building to start to set up like a headquarters. I'm wondering if the series is going to end with Ferrix and we're going to see like little back at Ferrix and then see it culminate. Also that scene with the clones on Ferrix in the trailer makes me wonder if we're going to see a flashback to the last time the stormtroopers were there, so to speak. And then the Clone Wars end. They're not happy about it. Clone Wars end. And then, but we see it go back to that. So we know that when those troopers go, when those stormtroopers show up, it's going to be tense. I think that's maybe what they're going to do with it.
I could see having a flashback from, say, like Marva's perspective. Since Cassian would have been how old? And I don't know. It's interesting to figure out the whole timeline of this. And I wonder, too, because I know we talked about that in the one after show in terms of, like, when does all this stuff take place, especially when you see little Cassian. But his actual age has never really been established in canon. It's been in a couple of like the source books and stuff like that. But I don't know if they actually give a shit about that, and they can just. I think it said like he's 26 in Rogue One, and that was. But they can just ignore that, right? They can just say no, he's like.
Well, they mean they've already like when we heard that stuff, that was official paperwork stuff that his mom, that Marva was forging or faking.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't born on, what was that planet called?
Best.
Like Best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they fake his age? Is it like, like a Dominican baseball player that, try to,
it could be.
He's 16, they say he's 19, so he gets signed by the Mets,
Yeah. And then when Cassian when his adoptive father Clem is hanged. I hate saying hanged. It always feels wrong. Hanged in the town square. Yeah, hangry. Was he in Space Juvenile Hall at the time? Because that would also, what was it from something he did? Was he kind of responsible for it? Or did he cause the elements that like led to it? There's a lot of possibilities for what all of that can mean or where they can take it, if they even do. Yeah, it's hard to say. This show is like, it doesn't piss me off like where you like some of the shows you think like the obvious fun choice is coming next and then it doesn't happen. You're like, what were you thinking? Why didn't you just do that? This one you can't predict it, but it's like, it's usually worth it. It's been worth it every time. They didn't get all the stash. Quite a bit was left behind. Yeah. They ended up running, I guess, behind a bit. And so, but if they did make it out with equivalent of over $80 million, I think they did pretty fucking good for the rebellion.
You got to think in New Hope, Luke says 10,000. We can almost buy our own ship for that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can buy a starship for 10K,
oh
I
wait,
mean, like you're buying.
Bestman Bulletin is correcting us and saying Luke Skywalker is a fucking idiot. No, I'm kidding. He didn't say that.
Wow.
Yeah, he flunks basic economics. You know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If they could almost buy their own ship for that, then you'd have to think, you know. But
Like
what kind of ship is Luke
$800 million.
talking? What kind of ship is Luke talking? Though,
I'm thinking like a Honda, like a 20-year-old Honda with 200,000 miles on it. You know.
Yeah. Well, what does Luke sell the speeder for? 12?
Well,
doesn't he sell the speeder for like 12 or something though? I mean,
they have 2,000. They give
2,000.
2,000. So where does the 2,000 come from? Is Obi-Wan, you know, his space
sushi money
business? Is that he's stashing away 2K?
It's possible. Yeah.
Could be.
But I like Jedi Mike. I like where your head's at. Jedi Mike always goes into Santa's show and says "Hell Lambhead," and I'm always like, "Fuck yeah, Mike!" But I can't say that on Santa's show. David says, "Got some fun facts. This week's Rings of Power and Andor episodes were called The Eye. Also, 2Ks and Nimic's last words in Andor were climb. K2s and Nimics. Okay." Baymax says, "I thought they held a bit too long taking out the imp engineer before Santa had to take him out. Was expecting Cassian to shoot the kid in the face."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that would have been dark if they'd done that.
Actually, you know what? I did too. I thought that something harsh like that.
That might be a bridge too far for Disney.
Well, they also have to set, even though most of them die, they have to set up their actions apart from what Saw Gerrera will do. And when you're watching the episodes and you want that to happen, if you think about it, it's coming from a place of fear.
Yeah,
you're like getting nervous. You're like, you just fucking shoot him, man. You don't want to die, just shoot him, you know.
Yeah.
And then so it is sort of like irresponsible or whatever. But when they were on that bridge after they take off their like wetsuits and like Vel's like having nerves or something, I was kind of like, what was she gonna do? Go, oh, never mind, when they're all in the base? I was like, kind of like, that's where I was like, what is the alternative here at this point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To the plan.
I think it was, and maybe just to build tension in the audience, because I know I wanted to throw something at the TV and just fucking go.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck is this? Yeah.
But I mean, it's not. I don't think necessarily like a flaw, but I did find it like confusing on my first watch. I didn't quite understand what was going on there. I'll probably hate myself for that later on. It's probably totally obvious, and I just like, you know, was lost focus or something. The UFOs were in the eye. Oh man, I saw him, dude. I saw him. Luz says the biggest problem is no aliens. It does not feel like Star Wars without weird space aliens.
So if this is a movie, the Aldani people would be aliens, and you'd get a big alien parade.
Yeah, you know what though? Like, I don't think I would. I know if they were a bunch of like, you know, those people dancing in episode 9, and like if it was like they were all them, I don't think I would think it was better. I don't think it would make it better. I think it might actually take the humanity out of it for me.
Yeah.
Like it might make it easier to, you know, disregard it.
You're just not
But I don't know.
culturally sensitive enough. You gotta, you know.
I'm very pro-human.
Yeah.
You know, that's why when the aliens come, you ever seen V? I'm gonna be a pro-human. Baymax says Cassian could have taken the whole stash, picked up Bix, who hasn't an issue with skimming off the top, and head off into the sunset. I know, right? And then like just like could decide to send some like sensors up whenever a Death Star comes. They just pack up and move. Everything would have been fine. But I like to think Cassian, after he died, 72 Bixes in the next life. um, does edit. As Andrew says, was hoping to see dumbass ass Ack, the senator of Malister, in a pod ignoring Mothma. Just nobody told ass Ack he could go home. Just still there. But I mean, but to go back to what was being said, like I do agree with like seeing aliens and shit like that. But when we were in the Ferrex town, I thought it was adequate. And when we get to the camp, I don't think the camp scene would be better if there was like, I'm a Mon Calamari. Oh no, let me tell you my story about why I'm here. Like, I don't think that would be a good idea. So I think that like, and then when we get to the Imperial base, you don't really want aliens. And I don't like the idea of aliens and Imperials. I don't need them to be like oh, they're racist, they're the space KKK. I don't need that either. But you need to, when you start feeling individualism in the Empire, it begins to lose its power, because that's sort of what the machine does. Is it sucks out like I personally wouldn't, if I was making something from Star Wars, I would not put Zabrak stormtroopers in there. I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's a good idea. I think you want them. I mean, it's like I understand like where like women cosplayers want like to be like women in stormtroopers and stuff like that, and so like that's good too. But like that was the only thing like back in the day where I was like, I kind of like that the women are rebels in Star Wars and then they're not. But at the same time, I mean, like the way that they handled women stormtroopers in the sequel trilogy was like perfect. Like you could just hear the voice, and like they were women though. And it didn't like, they didn't give them like boob armor and stuff like how they were doing for a fucking time. That shit was so like just like, but like when they gave the Imperial in The Force Unleashed, like her cute little Imperial like jacket that went over like she got it at fucking Space Forever 21. I was just like, that's not like imperialism. That's not like losing individuality. This is like, you are literally expressing yourself through fashion here. No, that's not what this is. And so anyways, that's where I think you walk into like a weird space when you start to add too much like aliens and stuff. And like if you see like adorable little Nyan Nums and shit like as stormtroopers, you're like, well, look, there's a whole bunch of them. They're all living together in space harmony. Whereas when you see a bunch of miserable humans, like a bunch of pasty, angry British people, you're like, oh, that looks like terrible.
Yeah. Right. No, I mean, I think it would be nice to see a change of pace in the Empire, to see like, hey, there's this whole like alien race and they're like totally pro-Empire. Because I mean, it's probably the case. I mean, from a practical standpoint, if nothing else, like how many humans are there in the galaxy? If unless the humans like absolutely dominate across the entire spectrum, you almost have to have allies that are going to be non-human to make this shit work.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the Emperor is just above that in the sense that the Emperor cares about like attaining power. End of story. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care about like suppressing a particular people or anything. He just wants power by any means necessary. And so it's not like some kind of weird Nazi agenda for the Emperor. He just wants to fucking dominate everybody. So he doesn't, it would be petty for him. It would be like beneath his attention to even give a shit. Not that he's not racist, but he just literally has no care whatsoever. Just doesn't.
Yeah, he is in certain ways so self-serving that he is sort of outside of a lot of ideology, because he just sort of like Trump. I mean, to some extent, Trump really not. Like, I don't think Trump's a fucking Republican. I just don't. I don't think he can be anything but a Trump.
I think most Republicans aren't Republicans.
Not anymore. Baymax, after stealing a bazillion credits, I hope Mon Mothma's bed mattress is big enough to stash them in. So that's what's going to happen right there, Baymax. Next episode, we're going to find out that they took the money to Mon Mothma, and then her husband invested it in a Creed cruise. It was a cruise with Creed, and Creed's going to play and hang out with Creed the whole week. And no one else wanted to go, so he needed $80 million to rent the boat and to get Creed, and he spends it.
Actually, that's actually all crypto they stole. It's all just Bitcoin in there.
Well, the other 20% he invested in Creed NFTs.
It's funny. Scott Stapp's actually playing down the block here this week. So.
Scott Stapp on a Stapp.
Yeah. So should I go and get a picture with him holding a Stapp?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should.
I could do it. I could make that happen.
Yeah, you should.
What am I doing Friday?
He would be happy that somebody talked to him. Baymax said it would be kind of cool if Nemec had written the Rebels Manifesto. Yeah. Yeah, I do like that character. I'm sad that guy's dead. But it's good. He had a good death. And it was I think like in a way one of the most candy ass rebel deaths of all time, but also probably how I would die in Star Wars too. You know what I mean? Like you want to think you'd be fucking Dak, like fucking yeah. It's like fucking all amped up, ready to go, and then a fucking AT-AT stepped on me. You might call it an AT because you're a fucking idiot, but it's called an AT-AT. It's a fucking stepped on me, bro, and I died. And that's how I got here and got my 72 Bixes in the Star Wars Afterlife. Well, me, you, us, some fucking milk carts are gonna fall on us and kill us. You know, it's going like you know how R2D2 falls in the fucking thing when they go to hyperspace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll fucking break your back in two places if you're a fucking Twitch streamer. Okay, you're gonna fucking die. R2D2 is fine because he's living in a simulation, but not us. We would die. Pinewood pedigree payoff. I that's what I think is a lot of it, and I the work of the people in El Segundo, don't mean to like, you know, shit talk it. I think the people in El Segundo are delivering what they're paying for.
I'll shit talk it. Step it up, El Segundo.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Fuck.
Hey. Sources, bro. Superfly says, yo, what's up, guys? I'm late to the live stream. Just got to work and watch the episode. I just wanted to say, fucking amazing episode. I don't know if I overreacted, but I don't know. That was absolutely perfect for me. Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, it's, and then watch when the arc cycle starts over the next time. Will we go back and repeat the sort of, oh, that was okay, and then, oh man, most boringest episode, and then best episode.
Yeah.
Will that happen? I'm curious. It might not, but yeah. I assume it will.
Well, like I think you and I are on the same page. Darkness and Umbara is kind of the high bar.
Yeah.
That's the plus watermark. This is an unfair disadvantage in that it's live action, so you're never going to get the weirdness of Umbara in a live action show.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is as good as you're going to probably get to come into that level at a live action show.
I would say though that crazy looking planet like Umbara is the kind of planets that should be in the volume.
Oh,
that's the kind of places that they should be doing, not recreating places where they actually physically went there with practical sets so we have a frame of reference for.
Yeah.
Like in Loki, when they go to that one planet, that like city planet that's like just being destroyed.
Yeah.
It actually looks like shit, but I completely buy it and I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've never seen it before.
Right. Because if you put that in New York City,
if they were doing New York in the volume, you'd be like, what? You know, it looks like a Seinfeld set or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Andor is movie quality to me because it pretty much is. Yeah, but so is Mando for the most part. I think you're very nice to the Mandalorian. I'm curious though. We will have to go watch some Mando episodes after having watched Andor, and let's see if it feels the same. I'm curious.
That Krayt Dragon in episode 2.
Not fair. That is a movie.
That's a movie.
Yeah. That season 2 opener is a movie. I'm talking like we got to watch like the episode where Bryce Dallas Howard's first episode where they go with those people with those shitty costumes and stuff.
You know, I give a huge pass to first season of Mando because I'd say I like Mando, but it doesn't hold up to something like this. But it's unfair to kind of criticize those two things in the same level because that's the first thing out of the gate. And all the hurdles they had to deal with. The fact that they did what they did with what they had at that time is fucking amazing. They couldn't have done Cassian at that point, I don't think, as well as this. So the
Right.
lessons learned on that are paying off.
Hey, James, how's it going, dude? Baymax says, nice touch seeing the subtitles font on screen when the Aldani spoke. And then Murph says, laugh aloud, it's fucking 5. Luckily, I'm always up this late. Yeah, we'll have to let everyone go to bed. I expected this to be a short episode, but we keep talking. Look at Max.
Keeps talking, man.
Max won't shut up. Max is like,
Max
oh,
almost had to
well,
sleep.
I'm gonna, want to stay up all night. Max is always like, what if we stayed up all night, you guys? Wouldn't that be fun if we stayed up all night if we didn't go to bed? I'm just like, Max.
She's pantomiming now. What is she doing?
Poor Max.
Did you turn your mic off? Her cat unplugged her mic.
Mm-hmm. I think Mohawk cut her mic.
Sign language.
That's the truth. Says, did you see Marvel delayed a new Avengers film and a few others after announcing them with the release date last month? If this was Star Wars, it would be riots calling for Kathleen Kennedy's head. Yeah, I know. Our buddy Johnny sent me the list earlier.
You muted me. That's what happened.
I didn't mute you.
Yeah, you did. Because I was on mute. Bullshit.
If you unmuted yourself, it was you. Because if I muted you, you wouldn't be able to unmute yourself. But anyways, I looked at it and I was like, oh, nothing actually changed for Star Wars. Like everything was like as expected. So I was like, pretty good. Indiana Jones still has the same release date and everything. And I'm thinking if that stuff was going to change, they would have changed it on this new announcement slate or whatever. But
I don't think people understand how hard it is for them to make a Star Wars movie. Just to get like somebody on board to actually do it.
It's easy.
I mean, look at how many people they've gone through. It's like it's a fucking mess.
Earthquake song. You don't keep your money in octagonal tubes. No, I don't. It feels like it's gonna blow up to me. They're flat rectangle credits. What the fuck? Why aren't they in rectangular boxes?
Who's carrying that shit around in their wallet? It's like, how does that shit work? Like, oh yeah, let me break out. How much is it? 50? Hold on, let me pull up my cylinder here and like count out 50 of these fucking chips. What the hell does that money work?
Dude, everybody's like, Gorn died. I thought that was the Ramadan Steve. Legalize ranch. Legalize ranch. Ranch it up, bro. Murphquake says, so everyone loves the eye, but no one Nihil reference.
Nihil reference.
Nihil
from the High Republic. Do they tie into this shit somehow? I don't know. If they do, I don't care.
Yeah. ISB high alert scene at the end of the episode was fire. Yeah, they're pretty mad. They're pretty mad. Baymax says, will Cinta be the new Razor Crest? Wait, will Cinta be the new Razor Crest? Will radicalism veil Mothma even more? Yeah. I'm curious as to how all of this is gonna go and what we're gonna see on screen.
Never mind.
I don't know. Might be the next arc have Saw, maybe. Cinta Kaz. I think it's Cinta's the uniform people is her full name. Murphquake says, is Cassian not going back to Ferrix to get B2 EMO? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, are we gonna see, like, are they gonna do something with B2 where he
never again?
Like is he gonna take out like his data chip to hack K2? Are they gonna do something like that or not? Because if they're not, like, we don't see B2 in Rogue One. And he clearly gets a new robot best friend either way. So I'm like, I don't know if he bothers to go back for him or not.
I'm wondering if there's some connection with that whole thing with so like someone pointed out, the last Where's a K2 and Nimic were both Klein.
Mm-hmm.
Does somehow his manifesto get like loaded into does this like play into the K2SO thing?
Or
like it seems
does Tony Gilroy just write the same kind of shit,
No, that's too
particular.
It's too random to be random.
Too random to be random. Yeah. Putin needs to be Putin in the ground. I agree. You ever see how tiny Putin is too? A little fucker, little fucking rat.
Yes,
Baymax
he has
says,
short man problems.
yeah, he does.
Are
He's got short
complex.
little dick energies. Baymax says, I don't think Marva survives this season. The way the trailers were cut, she looked like she was going to suicide bomb when the troopers come for her. Yeah, probably will. She doesn't seem like she takes any shit. Mr. Shorty says, I adore that we finally got to see army troopers in such large numbers throughout this arc. We did see stormtroopers inside the naval base, which makes sense since the army was never explored.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Wait, did we see stormtroopers? Actual stormtroopers in that
Not a
base?
single
yet.
one in the base. No.
Okay.
No stormtroopers. But it does make sense. I mean, it's like, well, why are we not seeing, green berets on a naval ship? Well, okay, because they're the fucking army. It's
Yeah.
the Navy. So, it works.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Murph. Hanged is correct, but it always feels like it should be hung, which is kind of also funny. Hung. All right. I'll admit it. I killed her. I actually like Angela Lansbury. She's pretty cool. Baymax says, do you think anyone of the kid cast of flashbacks will explain the weird CIS Republic uniform confusion? Or is that irrelevant details for a comic to explain later? Yeah, well, what it is that the CIS hasn't popped up yet. So that faction is Republic at that time. And then when they formally secede from the Republic, that symbol now means the CIS. So it's not a Confederacy of Independent Systems logo at that moment.
Yeah.
But it will become one as those corporations secede. That's my reading of the situation.
We could do a whole episode on the politics of between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith and how all that played out. I mean, it's been spelled out in detail by Lucas and in the Clone Wars, but
yeah,
that's a long trail to follow. You need a fucking diagram to make sense of that shit. Yeah.
Wait, the planet they were from was Canary? Are you fucking serious right now, bro? Bro. Sorry, Canary.
Okay.
Yes, Perrin Mothma is definitely an NFT knobhead. Yeah, for sure. I can't keep up with the chat tonight.
Perrin Firtha, you fake fan. Come on.
Right. So Skeen turned out to be skeevy, but he cared about Nemec, it seems. Yeah, that was kind of like my reading of it was similar to KG's. Is I felt like maybe he was kind of on board, and then once Nemec was dead, he was like, not really a lot of reason there. Like I think Nemec might have been. I wonder if Nemec radicalized him to some extent. He did even say though, like I barely trust you or something like that. Like he was kind of saying that shit. It was like kind of funny, but then when you look at how he turned out, I'm like, well, I guess that wasn't that funny. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like he was very serious about that. Maybe.
Yeah, it would make more sense if he maybe had a connection with someone in his past that he had, somehow tied to Nemec in his memories, and I don't know. But yeah, it's not fleshed out. They can go anywhere they want with it.
You know what it reminded me of? Murphquake. Murphquake says, so my thing with the eye was it felt very like every galaxy they go to in the MCU. It reminded me of the Taika Waititi concept art stuff. The colors, colors and stuff, and the pinks and that. But I liked it. I thought it looked better than what I usually see in the Marvel stuff. But I don't watch it that much, so you guys will probably be like, well, actually, and I just don't fucking care. Mr. Shorty says 1020 here, skipping uni class for this. You know what? This is an education right here. This is shit you're gonna remember. Shit you learn in college. I gotta remember that shit.
If you're a real badass, you'd have gone to class and cranked this shit right in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you would have you would have had like a fucking robe on, like a fucking stinky t-shirt, like your fucking boxers and some slippers, like fucking the dude.
Yeah.
It's fucking dude. It's funny when I have your show playing, like when I'm going to work or whatever.
Our show, Max. Our show.
Our show. But when I'm not on, and it's you and Rob, and I have my phone in my purse, and I'm walking in the car, and I hear "fuck this" and "fuck that" and fucking shit, and I'm like,
fuck, fuckity fuck.
exactly.
Yeah.
Very family friendly show.
It is.
I mean, if your family's fucking cool, I'll tell you that much. Yeah. Dynamic says Disneyland raised the prices today 8%. Yeah, Disneyland could fucking suck it right now. They yeah.
Did my stock go up 8%? Let's see.
I will tell you though. I was dating a woman right before the pandemic, and I could tell she was always a little bit sad that we went to Disneyland without her. And I finally felt bad enough that I bought her the pass, dropped shit down straight up cash, paid for it. Pandemic happened the week after. And then in the middle of the pandemic, we broke up. And then I got a check back for the full $600 or whatever it was for the whole pass. I was like, fuck yeah, video games. Me and the kids just fucking went crazy and dropped the whole $600 buying every video game that we wanted. I was yeah. It was fucking money I didn't have that came back from nowhere. I was like, that was winning. I got the credit of buying a girl a pass to Disneyland, and I got the money back. I mean, come on. When you win in life, you have to celebrate it. I'm still celebrating it. Although I do miss her sometimes. Murphquake says, if you're going to complain about KK, it should be that she thinks wearing the most generic Star Wars shirt under a blazer is a good look. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's honest critique right there.
Mm-hmm.
And cool.
And also, we already knew that the Force was female, dumbass. Murphquake says the B2 to K2 move like Mr. Bones in the Poe comics would be sick. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they did something like that. Like, I think that would be kind of fun. Yeezy went to a meeting and started showing porn, apparently. Yeah, at Murphquake, they said he was trying to intimidate people by showing them porn.
Who?
Which Yeezy.
Kanye?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fuck Kanye. He's fucking
so
up.
Stupid.
Kanye is president.
Yeah.
He's got my vote.
Oh God.
Me and Bespin have this, like, it's a joke, but we are a little bit like about our powers to manifest things. And we weren't hoping for Kanye to get canceled, but we literally had like a 2-hour conversation while playing Fortnite about how Kanye kind of like can't be canceled. And they're like, where is the line? When does it happen? And like my kind of thesis was, as he continues to dwindle in quality, the more likely that he will, get canceled for the shit he does. And like the very next day, the fucking hammer came down, but rightfully so. The guy needs to fucking is an idiot. General Grievous says the one-eyed snake. Murphquake says, but it's funny, Mike. I was thinking about the time she had the lightsaber colored shirt. Oh, hey Meg. How are you, Meg?
Rob.
Hey, Jason Hex and Rob James.
That could be my
Rob
name
is
now.
Scratched out.
Like Steve Dave, I could be Rob James.
Get him, Steve Dave. Get him, Rob James. Good explanation. If the CIS Republic logo makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's what's happening, but maybe they'll be more firm about it as we get a little past the series. Mon Mothma is obsessed with the Gorman nonsense. Murphquake. His name is fucking Perrin Douche Nozzle. Name of the year. His name is Perineum. His middle name is Neum. Perineum Num. Murphquake says, I don't know. When he said he had no brother, it sounded like he was full of shit the whole time. That was, I think you could read it a couple different ways. I think it could be like that was true. And, but for $80 million, I don't have a brother. I think that guy would have killed that brother for the $80 million. Is I think maybe the takeaway, but also ultimately until they write some fucking comic book or lame book or something, I think it's a choose your own adventure on that one for now.
Or if his last words like, "What the fuck, man? I was just joking."
Yeah.
Like, oh,
well,
shit,
I mean,
my bad. Sorry. I
mean, it's like, well, what's more likely? He was down for the cause when it was convenient to some extent, got demoralized over time, saw the $80 million after living in the fucking woods eating roots for several months, and saw $80 million and was imagining all of the space bixes and drinks and space titties a man could buy with that shit, and was like, that's what I want to do. And his little buddy died. And I think that might be kind of where it went. Or it was a long con and he was eating roots, doing all that kind of shit because he knew he was going to have a chance to steal $80 million or credits from them. And, that's also worth it. So I think both scenarios are kind of plausible. Yeah. But when I watch it again, I'll probably be more cognizant of that and aware of, what seems more likely. But then they'll probably just do a comic book that goes, no, actually it wasn't his brother, it was his sister, and he lied to them, turned it on its head. Didn't see that coming. You got to read this, or you won't know. Murph, but it fit perfectly with Cassian killing the contact at the beginning of Rogue One. Line goes up, bro. Star Wars Ming says, you should tell your uni class that Andor is more important than insert your major here. Than Major Pain. A great movie. Andor hype, yeah. Andor's good. Insert your major here too early in the morning to talk like that, Meg. Yeah. We live in a clown world where the lower IQ you have, the more likely you are to be a leader of a country. That's true.
Yep.
One thing I never shared was that I was pretty I knew when they were casting the Grand Inquisitor for Kenobi, and I saw this page for the casting, and they wanted somebody who looked like Justin Trudeau. That's literally what it said for the casting of the Grand Inquisitor. They wanted a Justin Trudeau.
Does have kind of more of a horse face. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. But General Grievous says episode 6 was great, especially the second half. Hey. Man, you guys are so specific about where you draw up the real estate of greatness.
Right.
I'm just like, without the previous episode, this episode's not great. So like this, all of this stuff.
Yep.
I don't know. I see it all as it's all foundational. Personally, I'm not saying you're wrong though for preferring it. I'm just saying
I am saying you're wrong. If you like Kenobi and Boba Fett more than this, you are just so wrong. I don't know what to tell you. You need to pull out Elon Sleaze Begano and go home and rethink your life.
Baymax is all Rob is feet up Cheetos deep in the Clone Wars on Bara arc right now. Dude, I think that was earlier. I think right now he's watching Size Noodles Murder Zero, and he's like, I saw it coming, but I like it. Nope, Kanye West was hopped up on crazy hot exponential curve despite not being a hot lady. I'm lost. Cheetos deep. Hashtag Cheetos deep. Hashtag Rob Cheetos deep.
Just gotta drop that on him tomorrow, since he's not going to watch this and he won't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. As the truth says, my brother loves Kanye. I have to deal with thumping music from the room next to mine every day. He loves how Star Wars inspires his fashion and how highly he rates Revenge of the Sith, plus includes it in his lyrics.
That is true. Kanye does have that. He's defender of the prequels.
Yeah.
That's why I'm voting for him.
We don't, as president of the prequels, we don't want you in our prequel party. That's what I'm going to say.
Go. Yeah.
But yeah, well, guys, gals, friends, enemies, I hope everyone enjoyed the episode. And one last comment: what excuse is there for the massive change in how the Powin looks, considering we had them in the prequel trilogy and Rebels, and now it's totally different? Because that one looks like Bruce Spence, and that one looks like Justin Trudeau. I guess. But
the Canadian accent, that was the big thing. They wanted someone to cut out that ship. Yeah, we're looking for a Jedi.
Yeah.
Kenobi. Yeah.
Well, also, I think it's important that we, observe Tim for 1 second. Remember him. You know.
He's dead though.
I know. He's dead. I should update it with the new kid, but it's funnier when it's some just no name asshole like Tim. It fucking sucks. Bix boy snitch boyfriend. But well, Max, James, thanks for staying up with me.
Sure.
And
Max.
What? The cereal bars. Come on.
I,
Cereal. We were talking about the dyes, and I thought you were gonna like teleport it to me somehow, and I was gonna be eating it somehow. I don't know how, but I was gonna.
why did they do that? Like
Cakes, mother approved.
Yeah, but why did they? They know that people are gonna ask, like, what cereal to use.
You know, I wondered if.
And who eats gray cereal?
Well, like there are like companies who make Star Wars cereals and have the license for Star Wars cereals, and what if it's like a competitor? I don't know if they would be that petty. I don't know if that would affect it.
Oh, they would.
but I could see it. Yeah, I could see would. Like it, if you're like, oh, it's Captain Crunch, and they're like, whoa, motherfucker, this is Trix. Trix pays your bills. Trix keeps your lights on. Star Wars.
I think Trix now is fruit shaped.
Yeah, fuck Trix. I don't like that.
Yeah,
because it cuts your mouth more.
When you work at corporate America and you see the lawsuits that come in on like a daily basis and how petty and stupid companies are to one another, yeah, they would totally fucking like throw a fit about that kind of shit. Yeah, it's fucking.
I'm still gonna look for some cereal this week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure somebody's really figured it out somewhere, but we should make Ray bread too. I want to make the Ray bread and watch it go.
Did y'all see the blue ramen noodles?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think
they're in like a Chinese food box, aren't they?
Yeah, like I think they really do have blue ramen noodles.
Yeah.
Well, I mean ramen noodles are made of plastic, and I mean it's extruded plastic, so I mean they can dye whatever color they want.
Well, I mean, if you were to go though and just take like top ramen and put it in blue broth and then pull the noodles out and it was there, probably would with enough dye, it would probably look very vibrant on camera.
Use some Play-Doh.
But if you take a bite, you might dye your teeth blue for a couple hours.
It's okay.
But anyways, I'll be back on tomorrow. If like I always say, if either of you feel like coming back on with Rob and hearing his take, we're gonna come back on at noon tomorrow. Noon Pacific Standard Time, and I'm gonna rewatch the episode in the morning, and then I'll give it like more of like a review as opposed to wasn't that cool and that made me angry, which this show doesn't make me angry, so it's almost like that was cool.
It's refreshing to come on here and actually talk nice about Star Wars.
It is. It's nice. Yeah, it's challenging. Challenging. Like we were talking about it. It's easy when when something's pissing you off because you just like let it rip. But when it's like when it's good, you have to be a little bit more thoughtful and try.
Yeah.
But I'm still mad that we didn't get that dinner scene because I like my Mon Mothma song. But it still happened though. It still happened.
There's still that shot with her in the dress we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, no, there's going to be a
soiree.
She hangs out with Space Mike Pence. That's coming. But all right, everyone, have a good night. Go to bed if you haven't, and wake up and watch it again, and all that kind of jazz. And we'll be back. And Max, whenever you want to hang out, you miss having you around the daytime. You get bit by a vampire by some chance?
Me?
Yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. I think so.
She's too cool for us now.
I've been working a lot.
No,
she's got her song out. She's doing
that
videos. Money. She's just completely forgotten about us now. She's like,
yeah, go listen to Max's song, you jackalopes.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.